Okay, guys, it's still the Channels Television Instagram live session, and we're going to be having Joseph Yobo. We've heard his voice, but we haven't seen him, and so we're hoping that we get to see him. We're taking a look at staying relevant with football. Once again, I'm Austin O'Connor. You guys know me. We're just trying to have a chill with this Instagram live, but it's not just working. The network is not on the same wavelength with us. But hopefully, Joseph Yobo will come back on, and this time around, we will be just fine to get the conversation going. Who is Joseph Yobo? Joseph Yobo is a former captain of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, joined the senior men's national team in the year 2001 and went on to play for the team till 20 years of active football for Joseph Yobo. He's got footballing experience with Standard Liège, with Tenerife in Spain, with Marseille in France, with Fenerbahçe in Turkey, and of course Everton, where he actually made a mark, became the first signing of Coach David Moyes, and then went on loan to Norwich City and called it quits with his football. I see Joseph Yobo trying to join us again, and it's still same old same. It's buffering and just not going. Guys joining in, thank you. We try and make it interesting. We're trying to get this conversation going, but the network is not good. So if you have questions for Joseph Yobo, let's bring those questions in now. We'll try to get him to answer those questions. So if he comes back now and we can hear him, guys, I think we should just go on with the conversation. Yeah, I think we can just go on with that since the network is not ready to play with us today. So Joseph Yobo send in another request, and then we will just try to get go live. Let's see. Let's see. Guys, finger crossed. Are you praying? Let's see. Okay, we see the champ now.
Any better?
Yeah, a lot better. So,
Okay,
let's have you, Joseph Yobo, on this Instagram live session of Channels Television. It's the third of its series for sports. So let's get into it with COVID-19. Will football ever be the same again?
I think I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. This is a pandemic that is unprecedented. It took a turn on us. We all saw the heat, but it's getting better now. And then we're getting our life back again slowly. So with football, I do believe that at some point football will come back to normalcy. But let's look at what is happening now in the Bundesliga. It's been the second successive week so far. No consequences from the decision being made. Though the natural excitement of football has been taken away a little bit because there are no fans at the stadium, no spectators. And also you could see that the tempo and the flow of the game is a little bit reduced. But most importantly for me is, football is a fun thing and it's a unifying factor. We love this game so much. So you could see a team, when they score a goal, the natural excitement is gone. They cannot celebrate together. So putting all those factors into consideration is still not what it used to be, but it's a welcoming development. Finally, that, okay, we were very scared that maybe we won't get to this point. The Bundesliga has shown us that maybe it's possible. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah. I love the word you use. We need to stay hopeful. It will pass. Let's stay hopeful and do the things that the government have put in place for us to do, because together we can beat COVID-19. So I say, a lot of your fans know the way you started football. It was at Michelin in Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
Yeah, just finished secondary school. Michelin Port Harcourt is like an amateur team, but very good team, almost like an academy, but very good setup. So I signed there with my friend, my brother, George Abe. I know you guys will remember him, the right back for Nigeria. So I was probably the youngest in the team, and they were wondering if they should put me in the second team. They used to call it back then the feeder team. But I wasn't having it because I knew I could play. But they were looking at me like, oh, he's too small, he's too young. But finally I signed for the team, and I was super excited because, I was caught up between doing something else while waiting for my older brothers and my sisters in universities to graduate before I can have a chance to go to university. So the chance came very quick, and I grabbed it, played for Michelin for 1 year. And after 1 year, the rest was history. George went on to sign for Sharks of Port Harcourt. And then just after he signed, I moved straight to Standard Liège in Belgium. So it was just
That's just awesome. You now didn't get a chance to pass through local football in Nigeria straight up to Europe. How were you discovered? Tell us the process. That's an amazing story.
I think even while I was younger, because I used to play, I used to represent my state at the youth fund level, the youth level. So they knew me from under 13s and under 16 around the state and even some part of the countries because it was interstate tournaments. So we always travel out of River State to go to like Edo, Lagos, other states in the north and that. So in the youth grades, I was quite known. But scouts have spotted me while I was still very young, but my parents wouldn't let me at that age because they wanted education first. I had to finish secondary school. It was a must, which I'm glad that I did that. But my brother introduced me, my older brother, Albert Yobo, he also introduced me to an agent. So I think the same agent managed Taribo West as well. So he came to Lagos for his scouting job to look at Nigerian players, based on the fact that he has two Nigerian players, I think Taribo West and Albert. So he saw me and some other players, but among everybody that was picked who came to Lagos, I was the only one that left. So everything, there's grace on one side, and then the people that saw me play at a very young age really recognized my talent that I didn't really see. I knew I had the talent, but I didn't know I was ready at that point to go to Europe. Because my dream was to play in the local league, because my best friend George then, had moved on to play for Sharks of Port Harcourt. So my dream was, come on, man, I have to go with him as well. And then I worked very hard, really, really hard, put myself out there. And when the opportunity came, I grabbed it. Like I said, I came to Lagos, they did a scouting game and the team were there. Among everyone that was picked, I was the only one that left for Europe.
Wow. Wow. That's the story right there. You worked hard, you were ready for the opportunity, and when it came, you grabbed it. Let's talk about Nigeria 1999, the Under-20 World Cup. A lot of you guys don't know. Joseph Yobo wasn't a defender then. He was a forward player. I think, were you a striker?
Yeah, I was more of a midfield player, but I was very versatile. People that saw me in the youth grades knew that I had so much to my game. They used to tell me that I have so much ability. And one thing was, if you can go past people, and I was quick as well. So those were my strengths. With the Nigerian 99 Under-20 team, what happened was when I came into camp, same thing. The coach said, "Oh, I've heard about you. You're playing for Standard Liège XYZ, but you're younger than I thought." You understand? So the same thing keeps coming up when people see me like, really, can you live up to the expectation of what I've seen, of what I've heard? So he picked the team. We're playing two aside. That's a match against each other. The position left was just maybe a second striker because he already picked a striker for that team. And he was like, "You know what? You, Yobo, have it." You understand? Then I wasn't Yobo. Then I was there. He called me by my first name. I was Joseph. He said, "You, Joseph, have it." That's how I went there, trained very well, and he was so impressed. From that day, he said, "You know what? I don't want to know your position. That's where you're going to stay."
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm from Nigeria 1999. You did a lot in giving your presence to Nigerians, and we were waiting for you. Let's fast forward to 2002. Tell me the story. What were you like when you got that call to go to the World Cup in 2002?
Wow, shout out to Nazi first, my teammate is come on. Yeah, 2002 was a phenomenal year for me. I think that year was made for me. Starting from the AFCON tournament in Mali 2002, Nigeria finished third. I got a bronze medal. And then following up with the World Cup as well. So that was my year where I really showed that, okay, Joseph Yobo is here. To be able to break into the national team, I played every game at the AFCON 2002. I played every game at the 2002 World Cup. So it was a great year for me. The 2000 World Cup was a chance for me to show myself to the world. And what happened was, I feel privileged as well because the World Cup is the pinnacle of world football. Everybody wants to go to the World Cup. So when the chance came, I did what I had to do in the camp, and I was among those that were picked. But when we got to Japan, Korea, the coach as well was a bit confused where to play me. If you notice, Austin, the first game I played defensive midfield against Argentina. So it was myself and JJ Okocha in the middle.
Yeah.
The second game I played right back against Sweden, a game that I thought we could have won, where I put in the cross for Agawa to score our only goal at the World Cup. And then the last group game was against England. We played 0-0. They also brought me back to play central defense. So it was a great World Cup for me. It was a great experience, and that was the beginning of my career as a professional footballer.
Wow, I know. I remember that World Cup in 2002. You went on to also feature at the 2010 World Cup and the 2014 FIFA World Cup. 3 World Cups, 6 AFCONs. Joseph, what's responsible for this consistency that you showed?
I know a lot of people always think it's all about hard work. I'm a product of grace. Yeah, I always believe, because I'm very spiritual, so I have God and I know I have talent. So if God blesses my talent, then everything was going to be possible. And I saw that with the national team. I did miss out with Nigeria didn't qualify for the 2006 World Cup. Had we qualified for that World Cup, I think that tournament would have taken me to probably the biggest club in the world, because I was getting to my prime and I was doing so well at Everton. So I went to 6 AFCONs and 3 World Cups, like you said. It's all hard work and discipline. Discipline and belief. Because when you break into the national team, mine was a very unusual circumstances where from the day I broke into the national team, I played. I never stopped playing for over 12 years. I never sat on the bench. So consistency was key. And to be that consistent, you need to be a lot disciplined. You need to be hardworking, and you need to be competitive as well, because Nigeria has a lot of good players. A lot of good players. So, but like I said, the coaches believed in me. I worked really hard, and I made sure that in my early days, because you have to seal that position. To make the position my position, I had to work really hard during the first few games that I played for Nigeria, and the fans believed in me. My coaches believed in me. So I never stopped. I always aim to do better. Understand? I have that willpower and that desire to always improve. I saw players that were ahead of me. You know, I played with players like Sunday Ulisse, Finidi George, JJ Okocha, Kanu, and so on. So they inspired me as well. I saw where they were. I also wanted to reach to that level. Taribo West, understand? So every time I went to the national team, there was this extra motivation for me to do well, and that kept me going. Basically saying you need to have the passion and you need to be self-driven to improve and to always do well. And that's why I got that consistency for so long.
Wow, to be passionate, self-driven. I keep telling guys that the greatest discovery of life is self. When you discover who you are, nothing is stopping you. I'm glad you shared this story and somebody's getting motivated somewhere.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned the World Cup that Nigeria missed in 2006, because yes, that would have done so much for your career. Joseph, what happened? Why didn't Nigeria qualify for that World Cup?
You know, it was tough on us, tough on the country. I think it was a collective error. It was nobody to blame. It was a collective error. You know, I think the game was in Kanu. You know, the fans turned up. I've never seen fans like that before. You know, they supported us from the beginning till the end. But it was one of those games where we needed to win, and we took the lead. We thought, okay, now we have the lead. Maybe knowing now and having much experience the way I am today, if I were in that position, I would have maybe stopped the play and go to the coach immediately. Kick the ball out and go to the coach and try to change something. Because all we needed was stay in that position, pack the bus. If you have to pack 2 buses, the way people say, like Mourinho, be more defensive, because we already took the initiative, we took the lead, and we are playing at home. So we needed to seal the game more. Football is very tough. Sometimes the Angolans, I think it was against Angola, they equalized, and that's how we lost the chance to go to the 2006 World Cup. You know, it was heartbreaking. I must tell you, I was devastated. You know, I was shocked. Like, I went into my room and tears were just rolling down, like emotions, because this is me. That was my 5th year in the national team. So going to that World Cup would have been my 2nd World Cup. And like I said earlier, I was almost in my toughest form. You know, I was in my prime, and I've had experience playing for Everton. So and it was played in Germany. So the whole world would have been watching that tournament. It's just sad that Nigeria lost out. But like I said, it was a collective error. Now I know better. Now if Nigeria is in that position, then I have to say something. Guys, you know what? Sometimes It's good to win ugly. The most important thing is win. Make sure you win and get the job done. That's what cost us that opportunity.
I know, just take a chance. I mean, it's so painful. I was going to ask if you cried, but you've already told us that you cried so much.
Oh, yeah,
So
because I worked so hard for that moment. I did work so hard for that moment. I was actually looking forward to it. Having tested the World Cup at 2002, I knew what it felt like. Though I was still young, but I did really enjoy it. So I was looking forward to the next one, and not to be able to participate in that tournament. That broke me a lot. Yeah.
I know, it's painful. I spoke to Vincent Yama. He said it still hurts. Even a lot of football fans in Nigeria, they can't forget in a hurry how we felt when
I know.
in 2006. Let's talk about the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa. I thought we also had a good team. What happened?
Yeah.
You think, when you look back, Joseph, was it another collective error that we couldn't make it out of that group?
It was a bit difficult. I think then we had a new manager in. Last Lagerback, he just came in he didn't really know the players, but he was a very good coach. I had a good understanding with him, and we related a lot in terms of tactical work that we had to do together. So we started very well. We had a good team at that World Cup. But sadly, the third game, because it's easy to speak from outside, but when you are inside, then you don't really know. You just have to do your job. I got injured in that third game. I pulled my hamstring in like the 15th minute, but I played through till the end of the first half. And then Rabiu Afolabi came on, and he went to left back. I thought his strength is in the middle. But at that point as well, he's a very experienced player. You don't need to be fancy. Just do the job as a defender. And this is a game that we were leading. We were also leading that game. So to lose that game was very hard as well. So it's difficult. I think we got to the second round, right? Yeah. We did get to the second round.
No, in 2010. 2010.
What's up? Okay. On that last game, I thought, look, because I was on the bench after I got injured, and looking at my team, I was like, man, I wish I were there. Understand? Because defensively, the middle is always very important, but take nothing away from the other team that qualified. Looking at our squad that we had, we could have qualified for the next round, because we had a good squad, and Lars Lagerback was a good coach as well.
I thought so too, that we had a good team to make it out of that group. It's just so sad that it didn't happen. Let's fast forward to 2013. Nigeria had waited for so long after winning the AFCON in 1994. We couldn't get it again until 2013. And let me tell you, Joseph, a lot of football fans will not admit now, we didn't trust that team. When Coach Stephen Keshi assembled that team, home-based players were like, what's going on here? You guys went to South Africa and you did the impossible.
Yeah, you know what? It was, everything that happened at that tournament, that's why I say grace, it was for me. Because this is one tournament that I've always wanted to win. I haven't had 4 bronze. I've never been at the finals, so I didn't know what it was like. And I've been in great teams before, very good teams, probably on paper, better than the team that won the Nations Cup. But like you say, if you keep knocking, at some point, your opportunity is going to come, and it's left for you to grab it. You're spot on what you said, that people never gave that team a chance. Even when I saw the list, I did ask questions. I'm like, because they're playing the local league. I've heard about them, but I've not played with them. I don't know them. But the coaches must have seen something. And that's why sometimes you have to let the coaches make their own decision. We as players, as senior players or captains or whatever, it's just an opinion and a suggestion. The coaches are the ones that have scouted the players, so they must have seen something, which worked out finally at the end. So nobody gave us a chance. I went to that Nations Cup with my team, and the first press briefing, I said this was going to be my last. So whatever happens, I was bowing out of the AFCON, because that was my 6th attempt. Yeah. Like we said, we started off roughly. I started the first game. That was an injury-prone season for me. We drew the first game. But because Nigerians and the fans are always expecting that we have to win every game, but sometimes we forget that other nations are there as well, and we have limited time to prepare together. So the good thing was we didn't lose that first game. But as I know from the national team experience, we keep getting better with our performance. As the tournament progresses, our quality improves. Everything we do as a team gets better as the tournament progresses. And that's what happened at the 2013 AFCON. After the first game, we started picking. But when we beat Ivory Coast, that was the defining moment. That's when I knew that, you know what, one hand is to that trophy, that we are destined as well to get to that finals. Because before you can win a tournament, the first thing is getting to the finals. And in my era, I haven't been at the finals before. So when we beat Ivory Coast, that was a great game. I knew that, you know what, we are on our way to the finals. And then if we get to the finals, we could win it. So basically, there was a gradual progression and improvement from the start of the tournament. And that's how we won it. And credits to all the lads.
Yeah. And yeah, that was a significant moment in your career also. And I say that because it tested your leadership qualities. Remember, you were not really playing. But how much support did you give to Godfrey Obuabona and Kenneth Omeruo?
Just encourage them to do, because they didn't pick themselves. As much as we know ourselves and the qualities, they didn't pick themselves, you know, because I started the first game, like I said, you know, the coach wasn't too, because that's the thing. With the standards I've set, they didn't see that in the first game. And people knew I was injured. I was just recovering as well. So the coach thought, you know what, he wants to try other players. We had a discussion about it. And we did, and the team started doing well. So it's always hard for the central defender to come in when the team is playing well. For a striker, you can always have an opportunity to go in. So that's what happened. And all I had to do was support that team. Even the coach was confused. He called me twice. May his soul rest in peace. He called me twice and said, well, I see you improving with your injury. I want to play you. Even at the finals, you know. But why change a winning team when they're doing well? And guess what? Imagine I played. Right, I'll tell you this today. Imagine I played being Joseph Yobo or the captain, put out a great performance, one of the star performers at the tournament, but Nigeria didn't win the trophy. What would have happened? Because I've done that many times. So I felt everything happened for a reason. Understand? It happened for a reason. It was a time for Nigeria to win. Like you rightly said, it was almost 2 decades, 19 years of wait, not even getting to the finals, not even getting to the finals. So it was a great memory. I tell you that, you know, and everyone keeps talking about how I didn't want to release that trophy.
I know. Did you sleep with the trophy that night? Did you?
Yeah, I slept with it. It was mine. Like I told you, that trophy was for me because I've waited so long for it. You know, not many players have the privilege to like play 5 AFCONs. I've done the 5th one. And that was the 6th one for me. So immediately we won it. I was like, you know what? Thank you to everybody. Thank you, God, but this trophy is mine. If they let me, I tell you, that trophy would have been in my house now.
I know it was a sweet moment for football in Nigeria. Did you cry?
Yeah. Oh, I did. Not in front of everybody, but when I took the trophy, I took it to my room. So I had it, I just kept it, and I was sitting on my bed and looking at it. I'm like, the memory started rolling from when I started, how many times I've missed the semifinals and then won the bronze medal. Everything started playing back so fast in my head. I was like, tears started dropping as well. I was like, finally, I have my hand to the most prestigious trophy in Africa, which is the AFCON. You know, so I'm so delighted. I couldn't be more thankful to God and everybody that was involved in that tournament.
I know. It's a sweet story. I love hearing this story about how we won.
And you know what, Austin? You know what? Because I was so consistent for many years. The only thing that people were also saying is, yes, Joseph Yobo played. Yes, he did X, Y, Z, but he hasn't won a major trophy. So it was good for me to bow out the national team with a major trophy. Yeah.
Because Rufo asked questions, that what's going on?
I know you asked. I know.
I said, well, who did Joseph Yobo offend? I know.
What happened? You know, but it's so special. Until this moment, I cherish it. Like I look back and tell my kids, in retrospect, I tell my kids everything that happened in the national team. And the pinnacle of it all is finishing with that AFCON trophy.
I know, beautiful, fantastic. Well done, Joseph Yobo. Let's wrap up national team football with the World Cup in 2014. And again, we asked questions because we were coming off the bank of winning the AFCON in 2013. So we were expecting some consistency, and then we saw some inclusion in the team. When we were getting ready for the 2014 World Cup, what came to your mind when you saw the list for the team going to Brazil?
I tell you what, Austin, may he so rest in peace, the big boss. You know, he was so influential in my career and everything. But from winning that AFCON, everything changed. I tell you this, you know, this is not putting anybody down, because I believe everything happened for a reason. They went to the Confederation Cup as champions of Africa. I wasn't aware of it. I was left out. So everything changed. You know, some success sometimes, you know, yeah, they are the coaches, they pick the players and everything. So that being said, 2014 World Cup was a bit different. We saw some new inclusions as well. I was injured. I moved to Norwich to prove that I can still play. So I went back to the Premier League and then showed myself. So in camp, I saw some new players coming in and everybody was fighting. It was very competitive. Everybody was fighting for their place. But like you rightly said, you know, if there was more continuity, the team would have been more consistent, and consistency breeds success. You understand? We were a bit fortunate with 2013 that players came in and then we won. Now that we had won that tournament, I was of the opinion that maybe there will be a little bit of consistency. Maybe change 1, 2, 3 players, but keep majority of that team. That didn't happen, and it also showed at the World Cup. But credit to the coach, he's not alive today. They did their best, and we went to the World Cup. It's not what we expected, but at least we got to the second round, which in my opinion, there are players that missed out, not naming anybody. But like I said, the coaches are always right, and they are in the place to defend the decision that they made, not me as the captain or any other player. We still have the assistant coach that can say what happened at that tournament. But overall, I think I was impressed.
Let's just talk about some of the allegations that have come out of that World Cup, because it was a major World Cup for Nigeria. We're African champions. I'm sure you've heard some former teammates and persons that can still play in the Super Eagles make comments such as bribery in the team or favoritism. God bless his soul, the big boss has done so much for football in the country, and we respect him. But Joseph, what's your view, you know, in all of these allegations that have been flying around?
I think it's two things. And then for me, I end up being caught in the middle, because I know the big boss, understand, and I know these players. So I do know for sure that things happen in the national team, but I don't know what extent they get to. I wasn't one of those through my ranks of playing. Nothing happened to me. So maybe I was very fortunate. I've also seen players that I thought were very good, but they end up not being in the national team. Decisions are always being made by those that are in that position. 2014, hearing the allegations, I felt bad. Like, you know, I thought, okay, the big boss is not here, number one, to like, you know, talk about these things. But the players also that are making these allegations, they are not players that just run their mouths. You understand? You must look at the personality of that player, the pedigree of that person that is talking.
Well, the network can't go bad on us now. Not now. Not now that we're clarifying issues. No, no, no. So hopefully, okay. No. No, no. Still having network issues. Hopefully it comes back, because he was making. I know, John. I know, not now, not now. Okay.
Yeah, people are calling. So it's hard to know, but like I said, I do know the big boss and know his personality and his character. He's one of those that raised me. And then knowing my teammates as well. So I'm just caught up in the middle. I don't know what it is. I think the assistant coach is there, Dan Omokachi, and they should be the ones to answer those questions. I know things happen in the national team, but not to this extent. I was also sad that some of these players were not in the team. So hearing it now is just so confusing. The big boss is not alive to speak for himself. May he so rest in peace. So in one hand, I think it's a difficult case that we should just let, you know, lay to rest, because the big boss is not alive today. But like I said, just for clarity, I know my players and I know the coach, so I'm just caught up in the middle.
And God bless his soul, Coach Keshi did so much for football in this country. Won as a player, won the AFCON as a player and a coach. That's his legacy right there for you guys to try and beat.
I tell you what, he made me captain in my 3rd or 4th cap for Nigeria. So it started from him. He called me and said he sees himself in me. That's how he said it. I looked at everybody and said, you are the captain. That was my 4th cap against Namibia. I was the captain of that game. So I know him to a point. So it's hard, and then I know my players. But his legacy cannot be, it's untouchable. To win as a player, not just an ordinary player, he was a great personality. And then to win again as a coach, I think it's going to be hard for anyone to surpass that. So may he so rest in peace.
That's a target for you guys. God bless his soul, Coach Keshi. I know it. You tell me, how much of a work is it to lead the Super Eagles of Nigeria?
I'm not one of those players that that shrink under pressure. So mine came almost like a natural progression. People say that I was anointed. Yes, I started very early, just like I mentioned, that in my 4th cap, I was already a captain. And I played under great captains like Sunday Olise, which I understudied a bit, and JJ Okocha, then Kanu Nwankwo before myself. So it was something that I was already used to before I became the main captain of Nigerian team. And that was in 2010 when Kanu stopped playing. But most times I was a playing captain. So I was always used to making decisions. And the coaches, you have to earn the rights. I was talking to JJ one time and he said, you know what, that is not about me being me, that I earn the right for everything. So the respect that I got from my coaches and my players came through the hard work and what they see me do.
So Yobo, let's end this debate with this conversation, because this debate would end 1994 Super Eagles AFCON winning team and 2030, because you have a mix of both of them. You played with some of the guys that I was talking in 1994. Let's make a mild comparison so that I don't put you into any form of trouble. The 1994 team and the 2013 team, which was the most on the team? The AFCON winning team.
I'll tell you what. Looking on paper, they had great squad. But we had character because nobody gave us a chance. Nobody gave us a chance. So on that note, it's very difficult to say. So they had a good team, great squad, people expected them to go out there and at least get to the finals or eventually win it. We, on the other hand, people never even believed we could get out of the group. So it's very difficult to fall into that debate. And but I'll say it's different eras. I try not to come into the competition. It's different eras. Two great teams that now have a legacy. The big boss was with 20. He was the captain of 1994. May he still rest in peace. I was for 2013. So it's hard, but me as a person, I always give it to the people that paved the way for me.
Yeah.
I always give it to those that paved the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that answer. I was trying not to put you into any form of trouble because you'll get phone calls. Because that debate, 1994 and 2025, the 1994, they are untouchable.
Different things. I'm glad I did analyze it very well, their strengths and what happened. So two great teams in their own right.
I agree with you. I agree. I didn't give the 2013 class a chance, and for them to prove me wrong, then they earned my respect. Let's talk about club football. Club football, I see you Standard Liège to Marseille, to Tenerife on loan, to Everton on loan, and then Everton gave you a permanent deal. So let's stop right there at Everton. What sort of career was it at Everton? By the way, you were the first signing of David Moyes. How much influence does David Moyes have in your career?
Huge, very big. I'll tell you this story. When I signed for, I did meet. Did I speak to him or I met him? We played Ireland preseason friendly game before the World Cup. I played in the middle against JJ. So I remember my agent was Moyes. So we spoke about it that Everton was interested in me. And I said to my agent, I said, I want to go to the World Cup first. Because I was playing for Olympique de Marseille then. I said, after the World Cup, I knew there were other clubs that were also interested before the World Cup. And the options were wait till after the World Cup, which I did. So after the World Cup, my agent said, okay, we're going to England. I said, where are we going? He said, there are a couple of clubs, which I knew about it. But we took a flight from Brussels, and then we went straight to Liverpool. So I'm asking him, I said, why are we in Liverpool? He said, oh, we're going to Everton to see David Moyes. I was like, oh, then from there we'll discuss everything. So when I met Moyes, he showed me the club, took me out, bought me lunch and my agent. So he was very friendly, told me how he wanted to develop me as one of the best defenders in the world. Basically sold the club to me and bought me over. So he was a huge influence. I didn't know that I was his first signing when he was talking. I was going to be his first signing. He just literally sold the club to me. And I was only 21, so I was still very young. So he told me that he wanted to make me one of the best defenders in the world. And straight up, I was like, you know what? I'll stay here. So that's what I needed to hear, because I always aspire to do well and want to improve. So he got me on that one. And I'm glad I made the decision to sign for Everton.
Oh, wow. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
And because when they first signed you and loaned you, I was like, come on, you don't do this to my brother. No way. You don't sign him and then you loan him off to Tenerife,
Mm-hmm.
What sort of experience was that for you, getting loaned to Tenerife?
From Olympique Marseille, I don't know where that came from. I never went to Tenerife. I only played one season for Olympique Marseille, and then I moved to Everton. And that same year, I can remember vividly, we had the AFCON as well, AFCON 2002. So that was the only period I missed playing for Olympique Marseille. If you look at my stats, I played 23 games, 23 league games, about that. So I got signed to Olympique Marseille late on towards the deadline. I played till the moment that I went to AFCON, missed a couple of games, then came back and finished the season. So I only played one season for them. I keep hearing that rumor, same as you, but
so we needed to clear that, and then we'll get that out of the record.
Yeah.
I know, very important. What was your first Merseyside derby experience? Because we hear about the Merseyside derby, and like, wow, when Liverpool and Everton are going against each other, the other fans are coming out to fight. Tell me your first experience.
It was huge, it was huge. But I was already used to derby games a little bit even from the French league, like Olympique Marseille playing Paris Saint-Germain and PSG. That was a big rivalry, not in the same city, but to show who is more dominant in the league. Those were the two clubs that I was used to it. But the Merseyside derby was also very big for me, because these are two clubs in the same city, and you have families in between. Just like you can have brothers and sisters. Some are the blue and some are the red. So it was kind of a bit friendly. But when we're getting towards the close to the game, it starts getting really hot. So it was a big derby, because these are two big teams with huge history, and bragging rights was more important. So it was very special for me to be part of that.
It was everything. When you look at your career, Joseph, yes, I mean, if you've done everything that you've listed, then you say, oh, let me just take a chill. But do you think you called it quit so soon? Was it an early retirement?
Yeah, like I said, I always believe that everything happens for a reason. I knew I could have still played, but I also knew that I had injury problems. And what happened was, the time that I took off, I didn't want to do surgery, because they were telling me I'm going to be out for over a year. And without the guarantee, because I had the ligament and the cruciate on the same knee. So it was so bad, and I didn't know, because I was playing with injections all the time. I was that kind of a player that, leave me out the small games, but those big games, I want to be out there. I wanted to play. So I always show out for the big games. But I didn't know I was causing more damage to my knee. So when I found out that, the only option I had was to do surgery. If not, I wasn't going to sign. No club would sign me, because I'll fail medical. I decided to go for natural healing. Like, just let it rest for a little bit. I thought, okay, the way my body is and the advice I was getting, within 6 months I could be back. And it worked perfectly well. I'll tell you the truth. Close to the time that I wanted to go back, I came back home. I was in Abuja training privately, doing my stuff. And I aggravated the injury. I've wasted over 6 months. I now aggravated it again. So at that point, I said, you know what? I'm not ready to go through another 9 months or 1 year of therapy, doing the surgery, and then recovery as well. Because one thing, the healing is one process, right? Then you have the recovery to get back into shape, before you can play. So looking at that process, I said it was too long, over 1 year. I don't want to go through that, so I called it, a quit at that moment. But I gave it a chance, and I was just unlucky. Overall, I'm happy. You understand? Because I don't know what would have happened, but because I love football so much, so much, and football will always be a part of me. Of course, people that see me now still think maybe I could have still played, even at this moment. So I tell them I've done my bit and I'm happy. Now is to look at other things. But you're right. Maybe I could have played a season or 2 or 3, maybe, just maybe.
That's quite, particularly with the Super Eagles, maybe 1 or 2 more years.
Yeah, I tell you what. After the 2014 World Cup, because I've achieved everything that I wanted. First player to get to 100 games, played at 3 World Cups. That was because I made a huge sacrifice from Fenerbahçe to go back to Norwich and play. I wanted Nigerian fans to understand that what happened at the 2013 World Cup. It was because of my injury, and then the team did well without me. You understand? So I wanted to prove myself again. Though I was playing at a big club, Fenerbahçe is a huge club, but our fan base in Nigeria follows the EPL a lot. So I wanted to move back. I made a huge sacrifice to go back to England, and I played for Norwich. And for me, it worked out perfectly well at the end. I was picked again because, like I said earlier, I did miss a year of the national team, the Confederation Cup and all that. I wasn't invited. So I came back even stronger and even more confident after going, because I've left the EPL for like 3-4 years to come back at that stage of my career to prove myself again. Because when I went back to Norwich, I was a super regular player. So I was playing week in, week out. People could watch me play, and I think that helped because why I went to the World Cup. Great career. Looking back and looking at everything, it was great. I couldn't have asked for anything.
And I know a lot of persons are learning a lot on how to stay relevant just listening to you. Did Arsenal Football Club ever come for you?
I did hear the same as you. There were a lot of talks. Yeah, there were a lot of talks going on, and my agent spoke to me. But same like every other top player that was out there. There's going to be rumors, but some of the rumors that are facts. You understand? There's no smoke without fire. So, but the deal never happened. So I take it as a rumor. I took it as a rumor. But I was spoken to. My agent did speak to me about it, and same with other clubs that people are not aware of it. And at a point, I thought I was leaving Everton because I renewed my contract. And I went to David Moyes and we spoke. I said, I love this club so much. I don't want to leave. But also, if the club wants to do a deal, then I'm ready to go. So we shook hands and I thought that was it, that I'm leaving. You understand? So then the chairman got me on the phone and everything changed again, and I signed a new contract for Everton. But I'm so pleased that I stayed with Everton. The plan was to do 10 years. Because I left Everton on the 4-year deal still remaining. The plan was to do 10 years and maybe have a testimonial with them because they were a great club and they showed me to the world. Yeah. Well, it didn't happen and I enjoyed it. But let me tell you about Fenerbahçe.
Yeah.
Fenerbahçe, when I went to Fenerbahçe, Everton showcased me to the world, made me Joseph Yobo. But when I went to Fenerbahçe, I had fulfillment. I was happier because I wanted to play in the Champions League. I wanted to win trophies. And I got that with Fenerbahçe. I won 1 league title, 2 FA Cups. I played in the Champions League. Not only missed out on Europa because we lost to Benfica in the semi-finals. And that's one game that I wish I could play because I was injured. But I only did my best in that game. So basically, I got 2 sides. Everton, where I understudied football. I learned a lot from Everton and they showcased me to the world. Yeah. Fenerbahçe is where I got fulfillment and I won trophies.
Yeah, so you were happier at Fenerbahçe than Everton?
It's different. You get to a stage in your career and you have to pick what is going to work for you.
Yeah.
I've done 7-8 years for Everton, and we were always close to winning something, but never. We were also not consistent in the Champions League. We became a top 6, top 7 team. We were playing in the Europa. We played in the FA Cup finals. I think that's the biggest one for us that we lost to Chelsea, I think 2009. But when I moved into Fenerbahçe was to have European experience and to win trophies. And I'm glad that I got that. So when you win trophies as a player, it does make you happy. And the fans were amazing as well. Both set of fans are different. You know, for me, I was older as well when I went to Fenerbahçe, so I have a lot of experience about life. My family were more settled, so I think I settled more there as well. It's two different sides of my life, but both are very special, and I cherish it a lot.
Yeah, I know, because on the comment section, you're getting so much love from Fenerbahçe fans. I could tell
Great
that.
love. I love them.
And,
You know, since I left, I've never been back. And I promised them that if not for the pandemic, I'll go and visit. Because I visited Everton before. And it was crazy. I couldn't believe the reception that I got.
Video. It was emotional.
Yeah. Oh, very emotional when I walked onto the pitch and the fans and everything. You know, so I want to go back to Fenerbahçe, and that shows that I left a legacy. You understand? I did something good, but they were both impactful in my life. Yeah.
Thank you. That's how to stay relevant.
Yeah.
You've been appointed the assistant coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now that has come with mixed reactions. But when you got the news, how did you take it? Now a coach?
Good. I was buzzing. Like, you know, I'm just, people that know me know that I'm that kind of a dude. Like, I'm happy, but I always rise as well. People that my character shows when things are not going well. I'll tell you this story. Coaching was always on the card for me. But I lost two great coaches that were a part of my life. That's Shaibu Amudu and then Stephen Keshi, just after my testimonial. So that was very emotional for me to take. At that point, I said, you know what? Slow down. Because these are two coaches that nobody could explain what happened, and they left us. But then last year, as a pundit and analyst on Super Sports, you know, the interest started coming back, you know, when I started doing tactical analysis and being able to express myself and my knowledge to the viewers. And thank you to Super Sports for giving me that platform to showcase my talent and showcase and tell my experience and learn from the tactical side as well. At that point, people started talking to me. The passion and the hunger, becoming a coach started coming back. You know, you must enjoy what you do. If you don't, then what's the point? So basically, it came at the right time because I was just transiting from a player to a pundit and then now to coaching. Because as a pundit, you must talk about the tactical sides. And I think you can remember, if you remember vividly, I did an interview with you before the World Cup 2018 as well. So my love and passion for the game and for the Super Eagles has not changed at all. I was a captain, but I became a big fan of the Super Eagles because I love it so much, and now I'm going to be part of the coaching crew. So in my opinion, it came at the right time. Yes, there were mixed reactions, but that's what I'm made for. You know, I'm not one of those that people don't see that side of me, but I tell you what, I'm happy about it. I don't know what is going to happen in the future, but I want to enjoy the moment and I want to keep improving.
No, we can't wait to have you there. You've got those badges sorted?
On the line.
Nice.
It's nice. In progress. In progress.
Nice. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best with that one. Getting that appointment confirmed what it means to stay relevant. You've been through the ranks as a player, and now you're getting into it as a coach. So congratulations. Let's do some quick fire questions before we wrap up this conversation.
Nothing controversial. Don't put me on the fire.
I just ask you two questions and then you pick one. This is very easy. Okay. You know, I'm your man. I won't say that to you. Port Harcourt or Lagos? Joseph?
I live in Lagos. But Harcourt will always be home. That's the toughest question you
get. No. You just
okay, I'm going home. Port Harcourt. That's my home.
That's it. Don't dribble me, please. I'm not doing that today.
No, I'm telling you now. Port Harcourt, always number one. Port Harcourt.
Okay, Port Harcourt. London or Istanbul?
Istanbul.
I know you were going to say Istanbul. I just
Istanbul. I tell you the love. You understand? In life, you must enjoy things, right? I love London so much, but my short time in Istanbul that I spent playing for Fenerbahçe was very memorable. So, looking at the balance, Istanbul. Always.
Yes. Bucket list for me. I must go to Istanbul. EPL or La Liga?
EPL.
I know it has to be. Marseille or Fenerbahçe?
Fenerbahçe.
Okocha or Ronaldinho?
Okocha, JJ, all the
All the
JJ.
time, man. You know
Yeah.
what? Don't just get it. But what was it about JJ when you played with him? What was it about JJ?
You know, JJ, as a captain, he wasn't one of those that really enforces things. He's easygoing, and then he leads by example, basically. But then on the football pitch, he lets his football do the talking. A lot of things that we saw in training, people didn't see in the game because the game is always structural. But he is one of the best that I've ever seen and played with. You know, talking about technical abilities. And it was always fun playing around him because, like I said, he loves football. He enjoyed the game. Enjoy what you do. So if you are around JJ, you must enjoy football, basically. And then, so he was a special player.
Yeah. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Why Messi?
Played against him a couple of times and knew that he was one player that he could become invisible and then win you again. You know, Ronaldo, we have to also give him credit because he built himself to who he is today. I played against him in England. He wasn't the Ronaldo of today. But Messi, people have seen his talent from when he came on board. So he's a Messi basically is a genius. He's just a genius. I don't know if in football we will see another player like Messi in many years to come. I hope so. Understand? And another fear that I have is when Messi and Ronaldo leaves the stage, what happens to football? Unique players. But I'll pick Messi.
That's right. Sing or dance?
Dance. You know, and when the dance, he releases stress, so you have to dance and enjoy
everybody can dance, so that's okay. AFCON or World Cup in terms of playing?
World Cup.
World Cup anytime. Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho?
Pep Guardiola.
Why Pep though? Why Pep?
His philosophy. The way he wants the game to be played. There are two great coaches. He just gave me an option, so I choose Pep. His philosophy, he loves football. Anybody that loves football, you want free-flowing football, and that's what you get from Pep. And everything he does looks like what they've done in the training ground. So basically what have been done at the training ground is what you see in the game. He's a tactical masterpiece. He's good at it.
The game. It's about to get a little bit tough now. A little bit tough. David Moyes or Stephen Keshi?
Why you do this? I see you cover your face, right? You cover your face, right? Stephen Keshi.
Stephen Keshi, the big boss.
Stephen Keshi.
We miss him so much. Yakubu Egbeni or Julius Ahawa?
You answer. You answer. I pass.
No way.
I pass.
You can't pass yourself. No.
I pass.
Yakubu Egbeni or Julius Ahawa?
I pass. I'm allowed to pass. I'm the captain. I'm allowed to pass. Next one.
We will come back to it. We'll come back. Michael Owen or Wayne Rooney?
Wayne Rooney. Great talent.
Yeah. Fantastic talent. Was that your testimonial? Did he make it down?
No, he didn't make it. Yeah, but I played with him coming through the ranks. So I saw him at 16, and what this boy could do, I was like, wow. So I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that he wasn't always in the top three. I was expecting Messi, Ronaldo, Rooney. That's what I was expecting, all true, because he had that talent. He did. Yeah.
Kanu won Thierry Henry.
You're not good at this, are you?
I thought it would be fun. Like we're just having fun.
Why not? You see how you said it? It's national team and EPL. You know, it doesn't make much sense, does it? It doesn't, because I know you to bring EPL, and national team. Yeah.
I know, but your fans that ask, they say no, he has to answer. They say you have to pick one, Kanu or Henry.
Thierry Henry.
Yeah. Joseph Yobo, I must say, thank you so much. You owe me one, so when we see, maybe it might be on my live show on TV, you have to tell us Yakuba Egbeni or Julius Aoa.
Definitely, that's a promise. When I come on your show, yeah, I'll definitely say that.
You will tell me something about it. Thank you so much, Joseph Yobo. This has been inspiration. I've had so much fun talking to you, and you've taught people how to stay relevant. Thank you so much. God bless you and your career. We love you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Austin, and your people. Thank you for having me. I think we had a great section, and I'm looking forward to another chat from you again. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And keep doing great, because you're one of the best at what you do. So keep doing great.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah. Bless you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, that's it. Joseph Yobo talking to us about how you can stay relevant. He did it with football, and you can do it with your craft. So thank you so much. Go to the comment section. Tell me, who's the next person you want us to talk to, talking about sports personalities? So send us that message, and we'll reach out to that person and have some fun on Instagram. Thank you so much. This again. Bye-bye.